Welcome home.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Busy Money Cast, the podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Hussain Abdullah, reporting to you live from a hotel. Y'all know I really live that entrepreneur life right now. I'm out in Iowa, but that's another story. So again, welcome to episode 2. Today's episode is about checking in, and we're going to talk about what that means. So first off, we want to give a shout out to Howard's Blend. Normally his icon or his logo is right behind us, but Howard's Blend natural plant-based protein. We'll always give away some samples and make sure we're going to give away some samples to some of the lucky viewers here today. And let's jump right in. So for those of you who missed last week's episode and it's your first time with us, last week we talked about purging and why I came off of social media. So I was overweight and I was still healthy, but I started to notice that the weight started to affect my health a little bit. Now, I'm starting to get a little bit up there in age, just turning 40 and whatnot. But when it started to affect my health a little bit, I thought that it was really time to take things a little bit more serious, put down the phone, and get in the gym. So I got in the gym, and within 4 weeks, I was able to lose 17 pounds at my peak. So during that process, one of the things I used is a system that I created 2 years ago. And it was something to help me with accountability. So I called it the check-in system. So I shared out this video and just basically said, like, if you guys want to work out or if you don't have anybody to kind of keep you accountable, check in with me and I'll check in with you. So I started the system with a good friend of mine. His name is Coach Wilson. And then I added my brother to it. And then I added like my mom. My mom's 71. And she'd check in every day and just kill me. So for me, I might be sitting on the couch or I might be doing something that wasn't as productive as I felt like I needed to be. And then boom, a check would come in or 2 checks would come in. And I'd say, I gotta put something down and I gotta go do cardio, do something. I gotta go give myself at least 15 to 20 minutes, even if it was just a quick shoulder routine or something. And that really worked out for me. So what ends up happening is, for some of you that don't know, I retired from formal education and a real job 3 years ago to go into my own business. 1 year within to that business, COVID happens. So then I ended up closing the offices I had, and I was really living at home, really living a sedentary lifestyle with no schedule. It's a lifestyle I still live to this day, which is very, very hard to maintain in terms of I don't have a schedule, but I got to try to create a gym schedule. So that's something that's pretty tough. So today, I'm going to have a special guest that's going to join us. And we have a picture of myself, maybe this is 2016, so maybe about 6-7 years ago, where I was at my peak and I'm there with my coach and my trainer. So why coach and why trainer? So the gentleman in the red, Albert Shao, he was the gentleman that set up the game plan. He helped me with my macros, which is like my meal planning and all that. And he can explain that when he comes on. And to have my trainer, Kenny, because you're lifting heavy weights, you need somebody to spot you, you need somebody to push you, motivate you, and also keep you on task. So I had a trainer and a coach, and that's only after like 3 months of working out. You don't have other pictures, but that's good enough. The reason why we share this picture is because this picture at one point was my Facebook profile. And I credit Albert with the reason that my wife and I actually reconnected, which is in the book Fear. You can get a copy of the book Fear right now. It's $9.99 on our website, HAHOMES.com. So as you can see, I look a little different in that picture than I do now. So long story short, my wife liked what she saw in that picture and then sent the friend request. And that's basically how we reconnected. And there's more to it. It's a funnier story than that, but that's what it is. So without further ado, I want to bring my man Albert Shao out. Albert Shao Shao Time, Mr. Shao Time himself, is a two-time natural bodybuilder, and we got a couple of his picks from when he won his first show and his second show. And the reason why I have to stress that he's a natural bodybuilder is because some guys do steroids and other things, and maybe I'll let him explain first. So first off, thank you, Al, for tuning into the show. I appreciate you.
Hey Hussain, how's it going? Hello everybody. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be on.
All right, thank you, bro. I really appreciate you. This is my first accountability buddy. All right. So Al, do you want to tell the people what the difference is between just being like a professional bodybuilder and being a natural professional bodybuilder are?
There's a lot of differences. I mean, like one of the similarities is that we both we still have to train out hard, very hard, consistently. We have to train effectively. We do have to diet for a long period of time. But because I'm a natural athlete, so our hormones do drop, our testosterone level. So the leaner we get, the more the testosterone level drops. So it's really not healthy to stay there for too long. But I think a lot of times we take longer to recover. So our body's not meant to be that lean for too long. So I think as a natural athlete, it's really important to really take in variables such as like eating your vegetables, taking your vitamins, getting sleep. That's something I'm still working on till today. I'm trying to hold myself accountable, talking to Hussain all the time. But it's just there's a lot of different variables. It's not just about working out. I mean, working out in the gym's the easy part, but it's the recovery, it's supplements, it's the dieting. That's the hard part, and just keeping balance with your family and friends because you know being in top shape is a very selfish sport, like especially bodybuilding. One of the things that I always talk to Hussain every year, every time I do this, is like I'm always trying to find more balance, like make sure I find more time to spend with my family and not just be too sucked into it.
Okay, so let's talk about that. And also, anybody who's tuning in, if you have questions, you could put it up on the live feed. And then if you have questions for myself or if you have questions for Albert, especially while he's logged on, you could ask the question. It'll populate on the screen. And then Al could take the question if it's for him. And if it's for me, I'll answer that. So let's go back to that first picture or the first two pictures. If we could bring those pictures up, Nova, the first two. So you win your first show, you get your pro card. You win your second show, you win your pro card, and then something happens, and then something else happens. Probably more your first victory and your second victory, but in another platform. Tell us what happens and how does that affect your workout schedule and consistency, and how were you able to maintain still being productive in the gym because you're training for your first pro show?
Yes. So that's a great question. So I actually get this question a lot at the gym when I go and I see people, and especially a lot of times they don't know like my history of like competing and also like my life at home with like kids, because usually my kids are not there at the gym with me. So I was fortunate enough to get my pro card for my first warm-up show. Again, like it's always nice to be warmed up, like even though like we've done it for a long time, because sometimes after stepping away for too long, you kind of get a little bit rusty and you want to like dust off the rust. But I was fortunate enough to get my pro card, and in the second show, I was able to win my class. Hussain was there to witness, and I really appreciate it because I was very fortunate to have a great support system, and I think that was like a huge help within my prep. And this comes from like my friends, my family. It's really important. But after I finished competing in 2018, I knew I was going to take some extensive time off. My wife was kind enough to let me compete 2018, and we've decided that we want to start a family. So I knew I was going to take about 3 to 5 years off from stage. One of the reasons why I took so long is because I didn't want to stress myself. Like as I mentioned before, when you're dieting, not sleeping enough, starving yourself, exhausted, there's a lot of stressors, and you're going to start snapping, getting moody, mood swings, and I think what I wanted to really do is I really want to enjoy the process of having a family, take some priorities in life first and not worry about the stage, because like I want to really be present, fully present at the moment when I, having a family. So 2019, my wife and I we had our first child, our son Noah, and we took some time off, and then COVID hit us. And one of the positive things about COVID was it allowed us to work from home, so we were actually able to watch Noah grow up because we were always home every day for like half a year. Come 2021, we had our little girl Ella. Again, so she just turned 1 last Wednesday, and time is flying by, and it's crazy because at that time when I told my friends and my coach that I was taking 5 years off, they looked at me like I was crazy because they're like, wow, 5 years, that's a long time. That's like, how are you going to stay away from that long? Some of my other friends are like, you're not going to be able to stay away from the stage that long. But I had a goal, and my priority was starting a family. So I knew I was able to do it. Like, I wasn't going to like, jump on the next year. I knew I wanted to spend time with my family. So the question asking me, how do I find balance in time, especially when now we have a family, or we're a family of 4, and we have 2 dogs at home too. So it's crazy. So I feel like I'm living on like a robot schedule. But one of the things is like, staying true to my goals. So I do eventually want to get back on stage. And I'm one of those people that don't like pushing off the back. So I don't like to say 2023 and then I'll say 2025. And then when 2025 comes, I'll say 2027, because, that typically happens a lot. And I think when that happens, it's usually like kind of like self-doubt. You're doubting yourself. You're not ready. And I think, especially within the sport, we're our worst critic. And I think you really don't see what you have underneath until you get on stage. So like right now I might feel like, oh, I look like crap, I don't look great. But I think, when you're done with doing the work, your work is going to show and speaks for itself. So I think right now, because I in my head, I want to get back on stage, I know I have to work. And especially now the young talent, these young athletes are like coming out of the woodwork, man. Like, I think they're younger, they have way more energy. So like when me and Hussain started working out together back in 2015, 2016, we used to go like early Saturday mornings, or like, like just earlier during the day after work. So like, this was like before we had a family, my wife and I. So I would just go to the gym, work out for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, go home, relax, hang out, and that was fine. But now with a kid, it's harder. So I go a lot later now. So I pretty much go at 8:30. So right now it's about 7:15 here in New York City, and I'm probably gonna go to the gym around 8:30 tonight. So typically I have a routine. So when I said that I feel like a robot, it's because typically I wake up at 5 every morning, get ready to go to work, and my commute is really long. Coming home, my commute is really long. So I get home around like maybe like 5:30 to 6. I hang out with the kids. And then around 7, around this time, I usually eat like a pre-workout meal. And then I give the kids like a bath, hang out with them. And then they go down to bed around like 8 o'clock. That's when I have the time to go now, 8:30. So the gym where I live now, it's not like how it was back in Brooklyn. Because back in Brooklyn, they close a lot later. Some of them are 24/7. Here, it's more suburban out here. So they're closing shop at like 10 o'clock. So I have to really make use of time. So like if I have an hour and a half, I have to go hard for an hour and a half. So pretty much I just work out, stick to the plan, and I give myself little baby goals. So like I'm not trying to get. So sometimes I do slip sometimes, and I do make a mistake, but I do know that I'm human, and I do know that this is a process, just like anything in life. As long as every day I'm trying to get better, and using the check-in system, I still check in with Hussain every night. We talk every night, every day, just to check in to see how we're doing, and he checks in with me, and I check in with him. And we just hold each other accountable. And I think that's like really important, and you can do this with a lot of your friends, like your friends at home, friends at work, at the gym, just people that you really trust, that you really believe that can kind of motivate you or inspire you, that holds you accountable.
Okay, cool. So a couple of like little quicker rapid fire questions. Do you have any, well, first off, let's do this. If anybody has any questions about checking in, Albert is not only a trainer, he's also a coach. So he has clients all over the world. You had dude in Italy, guys performing because of his background. So all his tags is Shao Fitness. His link will be in the bio. You can follow him on Instagram at Shao Fitness. He gives tips for exercise, meal prep. He vlogged his whole process with going through the show, his first show. And if questions are gonna come in, or if you want to do anything like that, we have our 3 rules. I usually like to start at the beginning, but this episode 2, and I'm also like in a whole nother state. Like, why would I be in Iowa? So just be mindful of your commentary. If you have something, and also let me know if I have background noise or whatever. And then just have fun. We're here to have a conversation, a discussion. This podcast is set up so that I can provide you guys free information. You know what I'm saying? Like, good work ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? And cheap work ain't good. So not that Al's prices are necessarily cheap, but you're definitely gonna get those results if you take his advice. Same with me. As a consultant, I'm definitely not cheap to work with, but like, I make millionaires, right? Albert trains professional bodybuilders, right? Or people who are going on stage to compete. So, you're not going to get like the run of the mill, old school, gray sweatpants trainer. He's going to put you up on game. And I have something for you. So as you were talking, I noticed 2 things you said that I wanted to extrapolate. So you said, if you are going on stage in 2023, no matter what, you're headed to the stage in 2023. I remember when you were in your first show and you were telling people you were going to take 5 years off to make improvements. The general public thinks that, if you go to the gym for 30 days or 60 days, you're going to have abs, 44 chest or whatever. And so could you just briefly tell us what you hope to gain after taking 5 years off?
Oh man, so this is the funny thing about natural athletes. So a lot of times to the general public, when we talk about taking a few years off, you're in your head, you're automatically thinking like, wow, if he's big now and if he keeps working out more within 5 years, he'd get even bigger. But the truth is, like, the more advanced you are now, especially like I've been doing this for a while now, you're like, I'll make improvements, but I might just gain like maybe like 3-4 pounds tops, like 3-4 pounds for my stage weight. And it's as crazy and silly as it sounds, the improvements that I will probably make is not even like drastic. You'll see it because of like the muscle density and the maturity. Like, I might have like extra lines when I'm posing. I'll look drier and harder. Like my body, like my abs, my back pop out more. But like, if we're talking about like muscle density, it's like very, very little. And especially like how Hussain mentioned, like, if you think you're going to the gym for 30 days and you're gonna really, go from out of shape to like bodybuilder, that's not realistic. And a lot of time, usually that's what kind of discourages people, because they do go hard for those 30 days and they are making results, but that's not the results that they're expecting to get. So I always tell H, like, a lot of a little leads up to a lot. And you say that to me too, right? So
Right.
that's what I meant by celebrating little goals. So like, I know you might have like a big goal. Like, I might, say like, I want to lose 30 pounds, but I know I'm not going to lose 30 pounds by next month, but I know I will be able to lose 30 pounds. So and the human body is very smart. So you have to like diet slowly, because the goal when you're dieting, once you're dieting, you're not building muscle. You're just kind of trying to keep as much as you have. So like, by not eating and not resting enough, your body's going to automatically kind of like shrink. So you want to like just keep your body as relaxed, feed it as efficiently as possible, and try not to overstress it, because that's what's going to hinder you from losing weight or gaining muscle. Because a lot of time people think like eating, if I want to gain weight, all I have to do is just eat and work out and I'll gain, eventually that does happen. So for example, like if anybody new to the gym, they go every day, 2 hours a day, eat a lot of food. Eventually they'll get really big. They'll start like blowing up and they look great. But after a long period of time, they'll start putting on excess amount of fat. So like they'll start looking soft. That's when you have to start doing a mini cut. That's when you have to like diet down a little bit, just to kind of clean off the fluff a little bit, just so that you can repeat the process, so that the next few pounds you put on, you're gonna look much better than the previous time you weighed the same weight.
Okay, cool. And a lot of the terms that Al is throwing around, I know sometimes like I'll talk about real estate and I'll say like, ROI or this, and people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. Albert's channel breaks these things down into bits so that you could absorb them. He has tons of content out, and it shows the process. So we have a question from Nova. So let's go with two quick tips. We have a couple of questions, and then we'll break into those. So other than checking in with friends, other than accountability, which I kind of developed from working with Albert. I'm going to get to the question, but I just want to say where the check system developed from. Albert checks in with me once a week, and then he checked my diet. Eat more of this, eat less of this. How does your body feel? Take this day off. Go out, refeed your body. Do more cardio, do less cardio, do heavier weight, So it's a real close relationship that you need to have in order to get your body to a certain level. But with that, so other than the check system, what are some tips, Al? Let's give us two quick tips.
That's a great question. What are some tips how to stay consistent when it comes to working out?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned before, small goals. So a lot of time, people that usually do want to get back into the gym, they've been away from the gym for a long time. So they're expecting like the more I go, the faster this is going to be. And especially when it comes to weight loss or muscle gaining, time is going to be your best friend. So always give yourself extra time. And, a lot of time people, they have a busy schedule, and it's a transition period, because like if you're not used to going to the gym 2 hours a day or an hour a day, you can't expect your body to go 7 days a week. You're gonna burn yourself out. Or like you might go hard for 2 weeks, and then eventually you're gonna like, hey, you know what? I'll take a day off. And then one day becomes 2 days. 2 days becomes 3. Next thing you know, you're like, you know what? I'll go back after the New Year's. So be honest with yourself. What's a realistic amount of time that you can really go and time? So I usually tell people to start off with 3 days. Within 3 days, you'll hit every body part at least once. And it doesn't have to be long. Do like an hour, do an hour. Keep with that for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and see how you feel. And this is what we talked about, like the biofeedback. If you feel like, hey, I'm being consistent, I'm feeling great, my body's not as sore, I think I could push a little bit harder, increase the days to 4 days. Start with that for like another 2 weeks. If you're doing great, and slowly bump it up. So this way, like, you're kind of like transitioning in and you're easing yourself in, and not just automatically jumping right in the gun, because that's hard, especially if you've never done cardio before. And then you're like, I'm gonna do 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't even do that amount. That's hard for me. So like, you want to be realistic and have realistic goals and give yourself a lot of time.
All right, cool. And then I'm gonna give you one or two quick ones. Don't be cheap at your body. There's some people who say, I'm not gonna hire a personal trainer because I don't need to pay somebody to watch me work out. When in the reality is, you absolutely do need to pay somebody to watch you work out. When Albert and I first started exercising together, he was my trainer. H, tuck in your elbow here, breathe, keep your abs tight. Little adjustments help my weights and my consistency go. And then when I didn't need him as much, then he just became my coach, and we were able to work virtually. So definitely don't be cheap with yourself. Pay a professional, because Albert's been doing this damn near 20 years. And look at his results. Not only him on stage, but him showing other people to be in the best shape that they've ever been. You're not going to do that by yourself by watching YouTube videos. It's just not going to happen. If you're 30, 35 now and you've never been in good shape outside of being a teenager with teenage abs, there's a reason. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with hiring somebody for help to get you where you want to be. So we're going to go from that one. And we got a lot of questions. So, all right, we're going to go to Libra's twin. What would you recommend for somebody who hasn't worked out in a while for a woman? One.
I would do, instead of doing one body part a day, multiple days a week, I would just do maybe 3 days a week, but like full body parts. So like you'll do like 2 movements for the chest. And this is like body squats, like kind of like supported push-ups, like off the walls. So this way, again, like what I mentioned before, you want to build up the momentum and you want to build the strength. Just start off light and just go 3 days a week, full body. And I think one of the things I would really, really recommend, especially for women, is just really be mindful of the eating, because a lot of times they're afraid to eat, or they automatically, believe that if I eat less, I'm going to lose weight. So your body's very smart. So like it's going to adapt very quick. So you want to really pace yourself and not just go from eating a lot to eating nothing. Because then what's going to happen is you're going to you're gonna stop losing weight and you're gonna gain fat anyway because your body's gonna be fighting to like kind of like survive and to be on maintenance, like a maintenance level, like a daily intake.
Yeah, we're gonna actually do a show specifically about this in a later episode, so Albert could break down macros and proteins and fats and carbs and the way that all works. This is just an introduction, but thank you for your question. So here goes a good one from B. If he's trying to cut, should he do cardio before or after weight training? I can't wait to hear what your answer is going to be to this one.
Oh man, you know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
So I know there is a myth saying that if you do it before fasted, you're gonna burn more. But I think when you do cardio, it's just like the extra cherry on the top. It's like the frosting on the cake. As I mentioned before, most of your effort comes from dieting and weight training. So I rather the harder you train, the more calories you're gonna burn, and then the less you eat, the more you're gonna lose weight because like you're intaking less calories, but you're burning more energy, more calories. So you're gonna be in a deficit. So that means like you're kind of like losing weight. But for me personally, I like doing cardio afterwards because when I do cardio, it's very mindless. I don't do anything crazy. I just do like maybe like 20 minutes on the elliptical. And again, I start off maybe for like a week for 20 minutes, 3 times a week or 2 times a week. And then after a while, like a month, I'll bump it up to maybe 3 times for 30 minutes and, you know, slowly increase it, just like what I mentioned before. But to me, I believe it's a preference because I do know some people they don't like to stay too late after the gym. So if they have the luxury to go in the morning to do cardio and then go at night just to work out and be done with it, that's fine. But you know, to me, I feel like I prefer to do it afterwards. This way I have more energy for my workouts.
Yeah. Watch some of these workouts. When we used to be in a gym like legs day, we'd be in a gym 6-7 hours on a Saturday. And people be like, you're crazy. What could you do in the gym on a Saturday? And I'm like, well, when you're deadlifting for 90 minutes because you're warming up, taking your time, when you're doing squats for 2 hours, you know what that is. That's because before Al had kids.
And now I'm trying to get out of there quick. Hour and a half. Remember, I have till 10 o'clock at night.
He condenses all that stuff down. You know, like I said, check out his channel. Check out what he's got going on. And then this is another good question. Because is there a myth to this, Al, or is there truth to it, or how do you feel? Does the time that you work out, does it make a difference?
So to me, just like the cardio question before, I'm a true believer in whatever's easier for your schedule because, you know, some people, they do work overnight. So it'll be kind of like they'll need to sleep there in the morning. So what happened is they might go right after work. And this might be like 6 in the morning, right? And then they'll go home to sleep. So the best time, to me, I think it doesn't matter. But the only thing that does matter is you do need to eat before your workout because this is considered a pre-workout meal. So you want to have some carbohydrates like oatmeal, a bagel, some toast, a little orange juice, a slice of fruit, just because this way you'll have some energy for your workout. So like if you want to work out in the morning, just have something lighter because you don't want to like overeat and then have to run straight to the gym within 15 minutes and then you're going to feel really tired and you're going to want to throw up. So I think there isn't really a best time to work out, but there is a best time to work out right after, like about an hour after you have your pre-workout meal.
Okay. And speaking of pre-workout, Howard's blend is developing some great flavors. My favorite is that fruit punch. You have a favorite flavor for the pre-workout?
You know what's funny? I'm a huge gummy candy guy, and I said this to Howard when he was formulating his flavors. And thank you so much, Howard, for really taking it into consideration because I really appreciate that. So the first flavor I tried was a sour gummy, amazing. But then when I had the fruit punch, it was chilled with the ice cubes and everything. Oh my God. Yeah. I would say the fruit punch is my favorite.
The dreamsicle's great. The sour.
Yeah, they're all great. They're all great.
Yeah, they're all great. But my favorite happens to be the fruit punch. We got one more question. This is your last chance to ask anything. We're gonna share the question from Orion, and then we'll see what's what. So what is it, Al? Is it one or the other, or is there a different answer altogether?
Oh, I love this. Thank you, Orion, for asking this question because there's a huge myth with, especially when you're coming to lose weight, like just do low weight and like 1,000 reps. So I think one of the things that's really important is called progressive overloading. This means, it doesn't mean you have to lift the world every time you go in, but what this means is that every time you go to the gym, every time you're working out, your effort for that set, for that rep, should match or beat the last time you went there. So for example, if I did 35 pounds, dumbbell curls for 6 times last Wednesday. So tonight I'm gonna try to do 35 for a set of 8. I'm gonna try to increase it. Or if I can go 40, that's fine. But like, I think you do have to utilize both because especially when you're dieting for a while or if you're exhausted, like sometimes when you're tired, like if you lack of sleep, I didn't get to eat, I ran around all day today, your body's gonna be tired. You're not gonna feel the same. So that's when you have to make that audible adjustment. You have to train smarter because that's when your ego really kicks in, when you're still training heavy and you hurt yourself. So there are times you do want to use moderate weight, but you don't have to always use lower weight. So mix and match, do both.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I don't see any other questions. So I want to say thank you so much, brother, for making some time.
No, of course. Thank you for having me here. It's always a great time.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great tips. We talk for hours and hours, and it similar, I think, to some of the things that I preach. When we first started, everything Albert said was so novel, like eat more food, or you could take a day off, or train like all in the scheme of our program. But my opinion, and I'll let Al say his opinion on this, is that the key to all of this is consistency, discipline, right? So you're gonna have to say no to things and whatnot, and giving yourself time and being realistic, right? There's a lot, and then setting a goal. If you don't have a goal, then you're just out there mindless. So you need a goal, so you have something to be consistent and whatnot. And Al, if there's anything you feel like I left out, again, drop your Instagram, your YouTube. We're gonna put everything in the links. Follow his page. There's some great content on there.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's funny because Hussain is also my coach, my consultant, not for fitness, but for financial support. And I think and this is why I'm like rocking this right now, because I am a believer, because I've seen him do the work. And one of the things before that Hussain mentioned was hiring a professional. You want to hire a professional that's gotten from point A to point B, not just someone that's certified or someone that just went to school to study, because there's a lot of those people out there, like, trainers in the gym. Like, you want to hire someone good, someone that that you trust, someone that gives good advice, someone that's done the work. So like this way you're like, hey, he knows what he's talking about. Because if Hussein's never invested before and he's my consultant, he's not gonna be able to teach me anything. Or if I've never lost weight or I've never done anything working out besides reading a book, I'm not gonna be able to guide him to the next level. So I think consistency, having goals, realistic goals, and baby steps, because you want to like celebrate as hard as it is. You want to celebrate every step of the way, and not just going from point A to point B. You want to like enjoy the journey. I think that's everything. And I know Hussain reminds me of that all the time.
Yeah,
even with my family, with the kids too.
Yeah, not for nothing. A lot of my temperament comes from Albert and my relationship, and I adopted a lot of those principles in terms of his coaching style when it came to having more patience with some of my investors. Like, he was so patient with me. When we first started, it wasn't like I felt like I knew everything, but it's weird when you felt like you've been doing something for a certain amount of time, and then somebody tells you something that you would never imagine could be true. And then I trusted him with everything. And then I listened, and then I got way better results than I could ever imagine in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, like that. So just, get some help. If you want to check in or you want to be a part of the check-in process from now on, and I keep wild hours. It'd be 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Y'all know, like, my people, I said, Al, here, wake up, like 3:30.
Yeah.
Treadmill. I just did bench, whatever. So I'm gonna post my checks. Y'all want to be a part of the check system? Y'all can tag us and put the check up. We'll share it out. And y'all are gonna be motivated me to stay consistent. And hopefully this motivates y'all to stay consistent with fitness, with finance, with all of that. So, you know, for now, Al, we're gonna let you go.
All right, thank you so much, and I really appreciate the great questions. You know, best of luck in everything you guys do. I know we're all gonna get there one day at a time.
All right, brother.
Take care, everybody. Take care.
All right. So another great guest, another expert in his own right. That's what I'm hoping to provide here, provide this forum so that you can get expert advice from the people who are actually doing it, for the real professionals, people who found success. They know. Here you go, look. My favorite exercise buddy, my favorite check-in chant. You know what I'm saying? Mary kept making another guest appearance. What's going on, Ma? I text her my checks, and then she works out five times a week. You know what I'm saying? At age 71, she's very consistent, and that's a motivating factor for me because, like, I'm super competitive, so I can't have like anybody outworking me, especially somebody is, you know, X amount of 30 years my senior. So we're gonna have a giveaway. The check-in shirt, the green hoodie with the check on it. We're gonna give one of those away. So y'all have 48 hours. Today's Wednesday. You got anything before Saturday. So if it's 52, 56, before Saturday. I don't care what platform it's on. Just, you know, if you feel like doing the right thing, put up a post, tag BUSYMONEYCAST. You can put a check in it. You can share out the show. You can share out the page, share out a clip. Do whatever it is you think you need to do. But make sure you tag us in the post, because if we don't get tagged, we're not going to know. And we'll repost that. So if you like the opportunity to get you know, some free merch and some samples of Howard's Blend natural plant-based protein, all you got to do is just show some love on social media. And when this show drops, if you like what you saw, drop a comment, put a like. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. We're going to be here every week, no matter where I'm at. Like I said, I'm out in Iowa right now. And I'm out here taking care of some business. Y'all see some of that later, but nothing stops. Nothing stops. Like, I will not miss a show. I'm going to be consistent for y'all. So I hope y'all do the same. Share this out. If you missed the beginning of the show, as soon as it ends, it's going to be live on YouTube. Go back. And I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is only going to be successful with your help. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. And with that, you know, peace. Thank you for tuning in.